All right. Let me do a quick intro and we can get into it. All right.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the this week's edition of the Rock and Roll Ghost podcast. We're very happy to have Snow Patrol's Gary Lightbody on the show. Gary, thank you for your patience. We had some technical snafus, so I appreciate it. How are
Oh,
you?
it's absolutely fine. Yeah. Cheers. Nice to see you, Brett. You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good now. Completely irritated with the fact that when I need it, the internet craps out. Uh,
It happens. It happens
yeah.
everywhere.
So tell me about the new album, The Forest is the Path. How did it come about? What does it mean to you? And how do you think it turned out?
Um, we started writing it to begin with, June 2022, and yeah, myself and Johnny got together and started writing the songs. The first 3 days actually were kind of pivotal. We wrote 3 tracks in those 3 days. The beginning, everything's here and nothing's lost, and then never really tire. That was day one, day two, day three. So it was a good start. And then we went in. We wrote the rest of the songs, me, Johnny, Nathan, and then we went in to try and record it the first time. It didn't work. Um, this happens sometimes, and nobody's fault really. And then the then we met Fraser T. Smith, and one of the great um, dudes that we've ever met in the 30 years we've been together.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was amazing. We worked with some incredible producers before. We worked with Jackknife Lee for 20 years, so we know it's an unbelievable producer, unbelievable man. But Fraser is wonderful human being as well, and great producer, great musician, and kind of brought everything together. And then by the end, we kind of 5 weeks in the studio with him, we got the record finished,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think it's turned out great. But you know what, that I wouldn't listen to me, because obviously I'm in the freaking band. But I'm really happy with it, really.
Yeah. What is recording an album like for you guys now compared to when you kind of broke out in the 2000s? Is are you do you kind of put up the money yourself at this point? What is it? How does it work? And then you just kind of sell it to somebody for distribution?
No, we're still on. We've been on Polydor.
Oh,
We
so
were on
you're on Polydor.
Fiction,
Okay.
Polydor. Like we've been on them for 20 years
Oh,
now.
okay.
So yeah, we signed to Polydor, and we went on an imprint uh, called Fiction. We were there for 10, 12 years,
Yeah.
and then the last two albums have been on Polydor. So yeah, no, they've been great. Both Fiction and Polydor, we know, have been great because they just let us make a record, and then we play it to them, and if they like it, they put it out. It's like
Yeah.
that's just kind of the way it's been. They don't kind of go, oh, I think the vocal needs to go up here, or you need to turn this one into a pop song or whatever. It's like there's been none of that in our career. We're very lucky because I know some artists, some bands get have those kind of notes in their lives, and we don't. So we're glad
Yeah.
for that.
That is actually cool that you're still I apologize. I didn't know that you were still on Polydor, and that's my mistake. Um how has just being a band changed in the time? Because when, like I said, when you broke out, rock music was still kind of a thing, and now it's not exactly in the popular sphere. People still obviously like you guys, they go to your shows, and there's a place for rock, but it's not the thing it was when you guys were breaking out. It was still kind of in the mix of everything else, and it seems to be deregulated, for lack of a better word, by maybe the media, or I don't know what, but it just seems like it seems like it's harder to be a rock band these days, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's for most guitar music. The like, I think everything is so driven by streaming numbers or social media. And I think
Yeah,
that for bands, that's always more difficult because
yeah,
we're not very good at it. Well, I'm
yeah.
not good
No,
at it.
neither am
We're
I.
we're not we're not really we're not really sort of known for being great at social media, and the streaming numbers are never going to be on parity with pop music or like the kind of shinier world. And I think, but they're the place where bands still thrive, I think, is live, because there is no other experience really in music than quite like going to see a great live band.
Yeah,
There's great, there's artists that do incredible productions and amazing put amazing shows on, but to go and see a really great guitar band is kind of still just as thrilling as it was in any era. So it's kind of it's not era dependent, it's not social media dependent, it's not streaming dependent. It's about an atmosphere and an energy that you really can't find anywhere else. um do I wish it was easier for bands, especially bands starting out? Yes, I wish it was much easier. And I think things could change to benefit bands, in the future, if some significant changes are made to the sort of models that everybody else is working on. But at the moment, it is a struggle, I think, for a lot of bands. We have a label. I've got a small record label with my old school friend Davey Matchett, and we put Northern Irish bands out on our label, Third Bar. And it's difficult to get any traction on those records and get them played on the radio or get them get people to
noticed,
care.
written about. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I think it's all this algorithm. I mean, you and I think, are about the same age, so it's like
yeah.
trying to understand things that might be past our knowledge or something at this point.
Yeah,
Uh,
I never like to be grumpy about the things these days or whatever. I like to try and be
roll with it.
optimistic about it. I think
Yeah,
that there's so many great bands still, so that there is a lot to be optimistic about, I think.
yeah. It's probably because everything's so wide open now. You can get music anywhere, anytime. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about the David Bowie 9 Inch Nails concert I saw in '94, and how happy I was because it was a chance. Because I just went to the parking lot, bought a ticket from somebody, and went in. And I had the temptation to like look up to see if any video existed, but I thought I like having my memory
Yeah.
of it. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it's weird because now everything that you saw or heard or whatever is practically available in one way or another at your fingertips. It's such
Yeah,
a
for sure.
weird world because coming from what the era we did, trading tapes or buying tapes or albums and making mixtapes and all that stuff. That was kind of like the way people found out about bands, and now it's the internet, and the internet is so vast that it's like throwing a rock into the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, it is a little bit.
um, how do you tell me more about actually your label? I mean, how long have you been working on the label, and how's it going?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's called Third Bar. We have a we run it out of the Oh Yeah Music Centre in Belfast. And it's been going by 15 years. We've released a whole lot of records. I can't I wouldn't even know how many. But it's been a lot. We've had two in the last few months. Actually, the last month we've had two records. One by an artist called David C. Clements, who is phenomenal, amazing, beautiful voice, incredible singer, songwriter, and then another by a punk band, melodic punk band called Sister Ghost, from Derry, which is the city that my family are from, and Johnny
Oh,
McDade
nice.
is from in Snow Patrol, and yeah, so they just released a record last Friday. Third came out Thursday actually. Yeah, so it's the records are great. Both those records are really great. I mean, people listening maybe check them out. Um, but it is very difficult to kind of get, even though the internet is worldwide, for Northern Irish artists to try and get out of the sort of, what would you say,
Bubble.
there's kind of there seems to be a kind of a bubble that it's around Northern Ireland to get, to even get into the UK sort of
Right.
market, like an artist here could play to 250 people in Belfast and then go across and play in London or Manchester to 10 people, so it is sort of difficult. So that's what we wanted to do with this label, is because we're from Northern Ireland, we wanted to sort of promote Northern Irish artists and try and get them out into the world. But yeah, it's I wish we had some kind of way to do that better. But
Yeah, well, it probably takes a lot of money.
yeah, more
Or
than I have.
or
Yeah.
and- or things just have to happen naturally, and then everybody starts talking about it. And that's the thing. That's one of the things you can't really capture anymore. I mean, I think labels that spend a lot of money these days on some artists can capitalize on, whatever inroads they have by throwing a lot of money at it. But they're only going to throw that kind of money after people that are going to make them money. So,
Yeah.
or they know for sure are going to make them a lot of money in general. So yeah, it is an interesting world, and I gotta say it's kind of hard to keep track of everything, to be honest, because there is so much stuff out there. But I did want to give your label a little bit of attention there.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are things in Northern Ireland for you?
Yeah, good. I mean, I grew up here. I've had a place here for 15 years in my hometown. And I've spent a lot of that time away, but I just decided to sort of move back full time here. I was sort of half here, half somewhere else, whether it was in America
Yeah.
or other places in the world. And I sort of full time here in the last 3 years. So, yeah, I'm near my family. I'm right near the sea. I swim in the sea every day. It's amazing.
Cool.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, there's one last question I wanted to ask you, and I hope you don't take this in any way the wrong way, but you had such a massive hit with Chasing Cars. Do you ever wonder, like, is there a formula to reach that kind of height again? Or is it just something that you just write the music you write, and
Yeah.
what happens, it happens?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, with Chasing Cars, it was just one of those things. I mean, um, we'd had a hit with Run before that,
Right.
and we were sort of thinking that was as big as we could have. We were a band for 10 years before we had a hit.
Right.
And then Run was a hit, and we were like, well, it can't get any bigger than this. I mean, it's just that'd be impossible, because it was
Yeah.
already impossible in our brains. It was actually happening, and we still thought it was impossible. Um, and then the next album, we made the next album, and Chasing Cars was on it, and it was a hit in the UK and a few other places in Europe, and then it was on Grey's Anatomy, and it was a hit in the States, and then it was a hit around the whole world. And with Run and Chasing Cars, it kind of, and it hits through Europe. We never really had a hit again in America, but did around the rest of the world. But like Open Your Eyes or Just Say Yes, or all these songs that when we play them live,
Yeah.
everybody sings along. One of those one of those type of songs. But with Chasing Cars, there's no formula, because I didn't know what I was doing at the
Right.
time when I
Right.
wrote it. I wrote it on a night where I wrote 9 songs alongside it. There was 10 songs written in one night, and 5 of those songs ended up on that album, Eyes Open.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was doing. I was 2 bottles of wine in at that point, probably, when I was writing it. And so, like, even if I wanted to write a song like that again, it was like, I don't think I'd be able to do it. And I never really sat down to sort of think, well, here, you know what, I'm gonna write another
Yeah.
Chasing
I'm
Cars,
gonna bang one out now.
because it just doesn't feel like it would be in the spirit of what we do, which is like
Right.
every record, I want to make something new. And Johnny Nathan, all we want to do is make new music and to sort of focus on the past in that way. But I'll tell you what, I'm fucking delighted. It was a big fucking hit.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you got, you I think about like a lot of my favorite songs, and they're not necessarily from my favorite bands. They're sometimes, like these 70s artists that had like one bubblegum hit, and I'm not making an analogy to you guys, trust me. I'm just saying that there's just one song that resonates with everyone, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And
I don't think there's any way of like sort of trying to like manifest it.
yeah,
It just kind of happens.
it's like right place, right time. And
Yeah,
I think the right place and right time happened to me. Grey's Anatomy was a huge show at that time,
yeah.
and a lot of music is actually coming from that show. And that one just happened to catch probably the emotional moment of the show, and it spread out. It's one of those things you just can't predict or attempt to capture again,
No,
uh,
no. It was something that's
unorganically. Organically you probably could.
yeah, yeah. It might happen again. Who knows? You know what I mean? But it's not going to happen if we try
You're
to make
right.
it happen.
It's just gonna sound like crap, probably.
100%, 100%.
Well, Gary, I thank you again for your patience. The new album is The Forest is the Path. You guys are doing some shows for it. Any plans for a North America stop?
Yeah, we're coming to North America in April of next year.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I listened to the album last night and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys are still doing it. 30 years is an impressive time to be a band and still be out there doing it. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you very much, Brett. Nice to
All right,
talk
you
to
have
you.
a great rest of your day. Good
You
luck.
too. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.